Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to explore quantitative risk analysis, which comes with advanced tools, techniques that we can learn for doing risk analysis. But before we get into this, just one disclaimer. See, from a project manager's point of view, we don't expect them to be well versed in using these advanced techniques, and many projects don't even do quantitative risk analysis. It requires sophisticated tools, specialized skills, and generally there is a dedicated group of people or a team who will perform this type of analysis. So we are going to keep this discussion just to make sure that you understand what these different techniques are helping you to do. We don't really have to get into the nitty-gritties of it. The second thing that I want to add here is the quantitative risk analysis that we are going to discuss usually has a different perspective towards risk analysis, in the sense that qualitative, which we were discussing in the previous video, it was looking into each and every individual risk event and trying to understand the severity of individual risk items. But when it comes to quantitative, we want to understand the totality of the risks, as in how all the risks together can create an impact on my project objectives. So let's get started without any further ado. Our first topic of discussion here is to understand influence diagrams. A very powerful technique, diagramming technique, that helps us to determine or understand various interactions, relationships that exists between multiple factors and variables in respect of a project. So let's say, for example, we are exploring that what all things can have an impact on my project duration. So duration is my end objective that I want to analyze in this respect. Now, I know that primarily my duration of a project can be impacted by something like how many requirements we have to deliver. Let's say it's a software development project. Then what is the team size that I'll get to work on this project? Then what is the skill set of my team? The more skilled, the more experienced they are, the lesser time they will need, as well as what are the number of bugs that we identify which we need to rework on. So all these factors have a direct impact on the duration of your project. However, there are other things that we should be able to also map on this influence diagram. Say, for example, how many requirements are being insourced, how many requirements are being outsourced. This will also have an impact on your project duration. Of course, not only the duration, but how many requirements are being insourced, that will also determine the team size, and also how many requirements are being outsourced. These things will also have an impact on your team size. But not only that, insourcing and outsourcing will also have an impact on the number of bugs. How many bugs we get can be dependent or can be influenced by the factor that how much work was done in-house and how much work was done from the vendors. Now, coming to the risk elements. Say we have a scenario or we have a risk that there's a poor understanding of requirements, which means this risk event will end up impacting the requirements factor, because we might have to redo some of the requirements as our initial understanding was wrong. And this particular risk is also getting impacted by the skill set, as in the better the skill set of the team is, the lesser the chances of poor understanding of requirements will be. Similarly, let's say there is another risk of limited availability of skilled resources. Now, this will impact the skill set as well as it will impact the team size. If we don't have enough skilled resources available, we might have a smaller team size, which in turn will impact my duration. And then, of course, the skill set also has an impact on number of bugs that we will have. The better the skill set of the team, the lesser will be the number of bugs. Then there could be another risk, say for example, poor job satisfaction. Poor job satisfaction can lead to higher iteration rate, which means my team size can fluctuate, impacting the duration. And yeah, then there could be another risk, say for example, lack of testing activities, which can lead to straight away more number of bugs, leading to higher duration. But I can go on and on and on in this space. I can keep plotting more and more factors, more and more variables, risks. But ultimately, what you have to understand from this representation is that we are trying to map that these are our different variables, these are the different possibilities, risk factors which can have an impact on certain other activities within the project, then how they can impact something else in the project, and ultimately how all of this can lead to impacting the duration of the project. So of course there are tools which will help you to prepare these type of charts, and in those tools you can always enter certain arithmetic functions to help you calculate the overall impact. Like one more thing that we can add here is expected monetary value. This is another technique in the space of quantitative risk analysis, EMV. The logic is very straightforward. You take the probability score and you multiply that with the impact, just like we did in qualitative. However, the only difference is that this time we are talking about exact percentage probabilities, and let's say for example dollar impact of that risk event. So this will be coming out as 500. So we can plug these values within the influence diagram. Say for example, what is the chance of poor job satisfaction? 50% chance of poor job satisfaction. And then what is the impact of it? $1,000 negative impact, because this will be costing us money. So in this case we are saying the expected monetary value of this is minus 500. And likewise we can keep doing the same calculation for the other nodes also, and that will help us to determine the overall impact. Although in this case we are considering the monetary impact, we can consider the duration impact also. So I hope influence diagrams and expected monetary value was clear from this video. In our next video, we will be seeing how to use expected monetary value along with the decision tree diagrams, which is another type of diagram. But yes, we'll see again with an example that how we can use expected monetary value to decide on a particular option. So we can take similar example that how much work we will, or should we be insourcing or should we be outsourcing. That decision we can see from an example, that how expected monetary value can help us to make that decision. So that's all for today's video. We'll continue this topic of quantitative analysis in our next video. As usual, I hope this was clear. If you have any questions, confusions, don't hesitate to put it in the comment section. For now, this will be all. Take care. See you next time.